Okay.
Well, welcome to Room for Rent, Jihan Sabir.
Yay, I am renting a room.
You are. Yeah, I mean, technically, yes. That's why we had you on the show, because you have a room to rent. You're renting a room. You have a story to tell about a roommate story, whatever. For those of you that don't know, Jihan is a good friend of mine and fellow comedian.
Yeah.
And all around badass. So happy to have you on the
sweet.
show.
Thank you.
As you know, the premise of the show is roommate stories.
Yeah.
And I know you have some.
Yeah.
So we can jump into it or we can bullshit, whatever you want to do.
I mean, listen, this is your pod. We can get into the nitty gritty if you want right away. But I actually I'm not going to say where the studio is, but I used to live near here.
Oh.
And very close.
Oh. We're in a very busy area. We'll say that. Yeah.
I went to an art school. For theater. Obviously, the dramatic is my forte. And my third semester? Yeah, third semester, my roommates, who I love dearly, decided not to do the summer.
How many did you have? How many roommates?
2.
And they were in the same program as you?
Yes.
Okay.
One was in the 2-year program and the other one was in the 4-year program with me. But we were all same major. But they decided not to come back for the summer, right? And so I was like, I want to get this over with. Okay, I need to be
So
done.
you were going to do summer school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I want to get through school. I've been in school my whole life.
Get on, become an adult. Yeah.
I went to college right after high school. I'm like, let's just blaze through and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in the summer. I get to keep my room, which is very nice. Like, the dorms we had were brand new the year we came. Like, they had just refurbished them. It's like apartment style, hardwood floors, air conditioning, full kitchen.
Damn.
And our own bathroom in the room. But
were you living in a hotel?
No.
I mean, this sounds pretty nice. I mean, if you knew where we were.
I know.
Stuff around here is not that nice.
Dude, when I went to the when we came for the open house before I got accepted to the school, they showed us the bummy dorms, okay? And I was like, okay, I guess that's where I'm going to be living. Like, I had already mentally prepared to live in these, right? Yeah. They're like, I'm sure they had roaches. I'm sure they had rats.
Oh, my God.
And you had to bring a hot plate, right? It was next to a 7-Eleven, okay? That's never good.
That's now, what do they call it? Like housing for the homeless, probably, or like where they send heroin addicts. You're like, this is where you're going to live in college. I didn't know what a hot plate was until like it got time to go to school, and people were like, yeah, you just take a hot plate. And I was like, I didn't know what a hot plate was and then I never had one.
We were so prepared. Like, when they gave us the list of who our roommates were going to be, they gave you their name and their number, right? So we call each other, and we had, designated who was going to bring what.
Right.
She'll bring pots and pans. I'll bring plates and cups. She'll bring the hot plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get there.
So you had a full kitchen.
We had a full kitchen. We had a fridge, a dishwasher, a stove, and oven.
Wow. That's more than I had in my first apartment out of college.
I know. No, I already knew, we were being spoiled. And I was like, well, live it up now, bitch, because you ain't going to be able to afford this when you get out of school.
Sure.
Okay? So it was hardwood floors. We had an AC unit in there. It was nice. We had our own bathroom that we didn't have to share with the whole hall. It was just the 3 girls had to share the one bathroom, which is fine, which is way better than sharing it in the hall.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
But those lovely ladies decided not to do the summer, and I did, but I got to stay in our apartment, and they put 2 new girls. So during the summer, obviously less kids come to school.
Right.
So they kind of just pushed all the kids into this one building, the building I was in, because there's 3 buildings designated for students. Ours was the nicest. And so
smart girl.
I had no choice in this. I was put there and I got lucky.
Well, you have good karma then.
Yeah. Look at these teeth. And so they put 2 new girls in my dorm, which is fine. One of the girls I knew, she was in the same program as me. Her name was April. And the other girl was in the 2-year program. And guess what her name was?
Not Jihan.
It was
no
April.
Way. Oh my God. You live with 2 girls named April?
Yeah. And they were best friends.
I would have been like, one of you is March or one of you is May. Like, this is, we can't do this.
They were both April. And
when were their birthdays?
I can't even tell
That would
you.
have been my first question.
I
would have been
honestly
like, is your mom a
don't
total
know.
bitch or is she like a nice
I don't even have my
person?
phone. I could look it up now, but I don't know.
Oh my God.
But yeah, both Aprils. Best friends, by the way.
So they knew each other before.
No, so they were placed together at the beginning of school in a different dorm, became besties.
Wow.
And then both decided to do summer, and they moved both of them into my dorm, right?
But they did know each other though before they moved in.
Before they moved in with me,
but not
yes,
before college.
but not before school, right?
That's how you know, like, you can't trust theater schools and art schools because that, like, no state school would be like, we have 2 Aprils, we're gonna put them together.
They
like,
did that
would
a
never
lot,
happen.
actually. It was really weird. I got, I was with 2 white girls, obviously, and there wasn't a lot of blacks when I went.
Yeah.
When I went to school, there wasn't a lot of black kids, but by my 3rd semester, I don't know, they had been putting posters up in inner cities or something because it was hella black people.
That's so funny.
All of a sudden, it was all these black people, and they could do Dream Girls, and I was like, what? And so, yeah, 2 Aprils, right? Which is fine, whatever, I don't care. And I knew one of them. She's in my same program.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet as pie, that girl. Sweet as pie.
Where was she from?
Oklahoma.
That sounds right.
Sweet girl. Very sweet girl. The other one,
Also from Oklahoma?
No. I don't remember where the other April is from, but we bumped heads a lot. She wasn't as sweet. And it confused me how they were best friends, honestly, because...
That happens sometimes, though.
Yeah, I guess opposites.
Not in my life, but
it's like, I guess this one has what this one wants, and vice versa.
Were they competitive?
No.
Were they hot?
Define hot.
Well, like, were they pretty? Did they have boyfriends?
Yeah,
or were guys chasing after them at all?
The sweet one had a boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
And he was also going to school with us. They knew each other before coming.
Okay.
They came together to school.
And then he came out of the closet because he was a male theater student.
No. But at my school, it is. You are gay till proven straight, honestly.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure.
Because there was a few straight boys in my class who came out as gay after college.
Good for them.
Which, if you can't come out at theater college, I don't, like...
The trauma's too real at that point. You're like
everyone already assumes
the groundwork
you're gay.
has been laid. Like,
just live your life.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
we don't care.
That's so funny.
But that means if you were straight in theater school, like, you got all the puss.
Oh, I'm sure
They were like, all the straight boys were hoes,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like any of them. None of them was cute. I didn't think they was cute. But but they could still get girls because they were the only straight ones. So even the uggos were getting all the puss.
Yeah.
Not this puss, but someone else's. But it was
You're so specific. I love it.
It was she had a boyfriend. He lived like on another floor. I think he lived on the 3rd floor. We lived on the 4th floor. And she was really sweet, very respectful. She would always ask if like he could stay over, like, and you know what I mean? Very nice.
Did you always say yes, or were there nights where you're like, he can't stay tonight?
No, I was like, it's fine, because I knew he was harmless, and she wouldn't have him, like, he was never going to be walking around half naked or nothing, and they stayed.
I mean, that would have been nice if he was cute. If he was
he
one
was
of the
not
cute
enough.
ones.
No,
okay.
She's not even with him no more. I think she's engaged to a whole new boy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a homeless man. Like, the way you started to say that was like, he's engaged to a homeless man now.
No, a whole new guy. She moved back home a few years ago.
They all do, eventually.
Anyway, she has a lot of like stuff going on.
Do you still talk to her?
Occasionally I'll I see her on Facebook. I'll send her a message. She was living here for a while after school, and then she, like I said, she moved back from here like not that long ago, maybe like 4 years ago, 3, 4, like maybe like a year before the pandy.
Yeah. It's baby making time. If you're from Oklahoma, you got to go home and make babies.
Well, I don't know if she's going to make babies. I hope she does. She would be a great mom.
Yeah, but that's what happens. Like, you come here, you try to make it, doesn't work out. You decide you want a family, you go back to your hometown, you do the whole thing.
I think she actually moved. She was doing really well here. She produced her own short play. I went and saw it. It was in the Fringe here, and I went and saw it. And I think she just was feeling the call home. You know, I don't know what
It
her.
happens.
Yeah, and like I think she went home. I think she went to school. She started studying something else, and she seems very happy. Anyway,
So no problems with April number 1.
April 1 is great. Love her. I don't dislike the other one, but
But you do.
I don't. Now I don't. But
I don't
at
hate the bitch, but
dude, but at the time it was like, I don't understand. Like she was doing stuff that was just wild to me, like wildly disrespectful. And like
what?
so she would bring people into the apartment also, but would not ask.
Were they randoms?
No, but they were male, so it's like, you know,
I mean, considering the area though, like you don't want just any man. Like,
yeah, I didn't
there's
want
a lot of transients.
Well, you
and
should.
things.
I think we're all women in this room. Like, if you're gonna bring a male into our personal vulnerable space,
Sure.
you should ask.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And she never did.
Yeah.
And one night, I woke up in the night, and he was sitting on her bed staring at me
Ooh.
while she was asleep.
What was he doing?
I
staring
don't
at you?
know.
You don't know? He wasn't. He was just sitting there motionless.
Correct.
Was he high?
Maybe.
Was he? You don't know.
I don't know. I just laid back down like I was going back to sleep.
Was this like a weeknight or a weekend night?
It was a weeknight. It was like, you know, we were going to school. It wasn't
So
a
it was
weekend.
just like you went to bed, everybody went to sleep, normal night, like after doing homework or whatever. And
yeah.
Because it'd be one thing if it like you guys had all been out at a party and like he
No.
woke up in the middle of the night, like
Not
not
at all.
feeling well or something. He just woke up and was staring at you. Cool.
Nope.
That's great.
He was staring at me. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Did you say anything?
No, girl. I was scared.
Oh, I would have been like, "What the fuck are you?"
I'm in a very
like,
vulnerable position here. I'm like
I
in
know.
my
I think I would
bed.
have screamed.
Okay.
That's
well,
like a horror movie.
I know. And
Yeah.
you're right. White women do scream a lot. But
Yeah.
no, I will not. I didn't. I couldn't. But yeah, like that's one thing. Like they would take my stuff out of the room all the time. Like I had, because I lived there before, you know, I had all this stuff. Like I had pots and pans and like cookie sheets and like, so they didn't have to bring a lot of stuff, right? Because I already had stuff there. And I swear, like stuff would go missing. I'd be like, hey, I'm trying to make chicken strips. Where's my cookie sheet?
And what would they say?
Oh, we took it to so-and-so's room to like make whatever.
And just never brought it back?
And left it or
good.
stuff like that.
Great.
You know, they broke the light switches, like like just like
They sound reckless,
it
these
was
two girls.
Listen, it was a little chaotic, especially coming from the girls I was living with before.
Yeah.
Who are like good, respectful
Yeah.
Christian girls. Okay. And then I got these, I'm not saying they're heathens, but
I mean, I'm saying they're heathens.
April number 1 was a Christian girl, but
Yeah.
she was finding her way.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the other one, I don't know, maybe she was, but she sure wasn't trying to live that life.
So did you get in arguments with her? You said you guys butted heads. I want to hear.
We had a
Roommate
Cold
arguments
War.
are the best.
We had a Cold War.
Okay, explain. For those of us who may not be so good at history, you're going to have to explain what...
Well,
Gen Z hasn't learned history yet, and so we have to explain to them what the Cold War is.
Well, we had a Cold War in that, you know, Cold War is like a war that is fought that never comes to actual blows, right? We had that, but we also had a literal Cold War. We fought over the AC.
Oh my God. Two girls named April and 2 Cold Wars.
It was like...
This is like the apocalypse in
But I
one
only
dorm
had this
room.
Cold War with the second April, not the first April. She
Yeah.
was fine.
But there were still 2 girls named April. So
I know, it was weird. But they... Okay.
So was it passive aggressive?
Yes, very much. And I'm not confrontational. So I was, especially when I was younger. Now I'll say something out of necessity, but I don't like it. But when I was younger, no. It was summertime, okay, in Los Angeles, all right? It was
like
hot
100
as
degrees.
sin,
Yeah.
okay? We had brick walls. It retains heat. And we didn't have central air. We had one of those little units on the wall, you know? And usually we'd keep the AC on like 71. Not crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds right.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah.
It was hot. I would turn the AC on, go to bed, wake up in the middle of the night because I'm sweating. I'm so hot. It's off.
You're like, am I going through menopause at 22?
I wasn't even 22,
like, no,
girl.
It's April.
I was 19.
Oh my God.
I was like,
worse.
So I would turn it back on. Then she would turn it back off.
In the middle of the night?
Yes, girl. And so, you know why? Because she slept on top of her covers like a psychopath. She had 2 sets of covers, and she slept on top of them.
Why?
I don't know. And I was like, no wonder you're cold. You don't sleep under covers, you psycho. Put a blanket over your body.
Yeah.
It's hot. The other April has no meat on her bones. She's always cold. But she never complains. You know why? Because she sleeps under her covers like a sane person.
Yeah, because also it's like a safety thing to sleep under your covers. Like for me, I feel more secure.
I have to sleep under something. Even when it's hot, I'll just do the top sheet. I'll sleep with just the top sheet.
Oh, yeah.
I had to have something over my body. I just 100%. Cannot sleep open air.
Oh, no.
Open
right
air
now,
sleeping?
I have a sheet, an electric blanket, a quilt, and another like fleece blanket on top.
Are you 100 years old? What?
Yeah, I'm the grandpa from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
There's 12 kids in the bed.
Good luck in the factory. I'll be here asleep with my 14 grandparents. Yes.
Dude, no, yeah, she slept on top of her covers. And so I'm just
Some people do that though. I mean.
Well, listen.
I agree.
You're innocent. If you are at home in your own room, that is fine.
Yeah.
We are now in a shared space. We have agreed that the AC can stay on. It is 100 degrees outside.
So had you talked about that though? You guys had a discussion where you're like, hey, it's summer, it's hot, we're keeping the AC on. You know, we'll talk about the bill later.
There's no bill. We don't pay electric.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's just all, I mean, I guess it was a dorm. So it's like all
exactly.
That makes sense.
So like,
so
it's
even
not
easier.
even exactly. It was not a financial issue. That's not the problem. Okay. And I was just like asking, I was like, is it okay? Like, can we leave it at 70? Like, I'll do as high as 73. I just need something cool.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a fan?
No, I didn't have a fan. She probably would turn that shit off too.
That would be crazy.
I didn't have any money at the time. Like I was in this fancy school, this expensive school, and I was poor as shit. Okay. My parents were like sending me, thank God my parents are divorced so I could get 2 stipends, you know, but it wasn't a lot. Neither of them were making like an insane amount of money, you know? So like I'd be getting like $40 a week to buy groceries and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't have any extra money to buy any like appliances. Okay. So we had an appliance.
Yeah.
It came with the place.
Yeah. And $40 a week for groceries back in the day, that could get you.
Well,
bread wasn't $14 a loaf.
Well, you remember that? Were you here when they had that grocery store, Fresh and Easy?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Those were everywhere.
I lived for Fresh and Easy because
those are gone now.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah.
It was a UK company, I believe. But like they
makes sense. Nothing British is ever going to last over here.
Ugh, Jesus Christ.
See, look at James Corden. He's done.
Is he done, really?
Oh, yeah, they're canceling the Late Late Show.
Why are they canceling it?
Because he's British. I'm just kidding. I don't know. They're bringing At Midnight back. This is a complete derailment of the story, but they're bringing back At Midnight.
I've been in his house, FYI, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Off camera. But anyway... Yeah, I used to go to Fresh and Easy a lot because they had clearance because it was called Fresh and Easy.
Right.
They could only their policy was they could only have it on the shelf for like 2 days, 3 days. So then they would put it all in clearance, but it was still good. So I would get like packs of chicken for like $3.
Damn.
You know, like 12 drumsticks.
Awesome.
And then I would freeze it. And then they had those pre-prepared meals. I would buy a bunch of those, freeze those. That's how I was surviving. I had to shop between 3 stores to get everything I needed in the money, you know? So like if Rouse was having sales on meats, you know, I'd go to Rouse for that and this and then Trader Joe's.
I've had friends that have done that.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah. It's just what it is.
It becomes kind of fun, actually.
It's like a little scavenger hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For groceries.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I didn't have extra money to get a fan. Okay, why do I need to get a fan? We have a huge fan right here in our home.
Yeah.
Okay, my home, which it felt like when they started doing that stuff, it really felt like an invasion because I had lived here already. At that point, I had already lived there for 6 months.
Wow.
And then they swap girls on me. I get these new girls, and I feel like they're not respecting the space. Right. Mm-hmm. And so.
But you never got confrontational.
We never did.
So it was just every night when it was hot, on, off, on, off, on,
yes,
off.
and then, oh, no, wait, but it escalated.
You're a patient person.
No,
I don't have that
in
me.
It escalated. So then I would hide the remote.
For the TV.
For the
the
air
fan.
conditioner.
Oh.
The the ones on the wall, they have the remote.
Yeah.
I would hide it. Right? So it'd stay on. Oh, nice.
Sneaky bitch.
Then I'd put it back. Then the next day she would hide it. And then we did that. We would hide it, the remote, back and forth. It was crazy.
At what point, though, do you just start laughing? Because you're like, I'm doing
crazy.
the same thing you're doing. I'm waking up at night doing the same thing you're waking up at night. Like,
it was we never talked about it.
I would lose my mind. Like,
Thankfully,
I've been passive aggressive with roommates before, but I would lose it. I'd be like, well, this needs to stop.
Thankfully, it was short. We didn't
like how short? Like a week? Because
summer. It was summer semester.
Okay,
so it was only
months.
it wasn't even 3. It was like 2.
But still.
So okay, we never talked about it. But here's the kicker. So we're getting toward the end of the summer season.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all staying through fall. Mm-hmm. My people are coming back to school. Mm-hmm. One of my roommates decided to live off campus with someone, so that was fine. But my other girl, my tried and true, who was also from the Bay, was coming back, and our other friend was going to move in with us. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to stay in my apartment that I had been living in. Uh-huh. And I asked the, administration, they're like, we can't move them. Like, you can ask them if they can leave.
So you couldn't kick the 2 Aprils out?
No. They said it's just easier to move 1 than to move 2. So they would have
That's a lie.
So they were going to move me to another dorm and keep those 2 girls in my dorm that I've been living in for the last however many months, right?
That's crazy.
So I was like, okay. So I go and I ask them, and she goes, April 1 was fine. She's like, that's fine. She didn't care. She's like, I'll go wherever.
Right.
April 2, I was like, hey, I really like this room. I've been here the whole time, and I was here with my other roommates, and they're coming back, who she knew. Mm-hmm. And because they were in the same group together, actually.
Right.
And she's like, no, I don't want to move. I don't want to move again.
I'm at a loss for words with this girl. I am. I'm at a loss.
She did. She was just like, no.
So
it's inconvenient.
This is okay. Look, I come from a very stubborn family. This girl, I think, trumps every person in my family in terms of stubbornness.
Dude, you want to know what's crazy? In the middle of the Cold War, I came home in the evening to find her crying.
Oh, how am I not surprised?
In the bathroom. She's crying.
Was she having heat stroke?
No. She probably had hypothermia. Yeah. No, she was crying. And I was just like, I tried to ignore it for a little bit. But I'm like, I can't. Someone's crying. So I'm like, hey, what's wrong? Mm-hmm. And she was crying. Something about her grandmother. Her grandmother was sick or something. And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mm-hmm. I get it. My grandmother passed away my senior year of high school.
Yeah, it's this weird thing grandparents do where they eventually just die.
Yeah, but it was hard because her grandmother was sick. She wasn't dead yet, but she was sick, Yeah. And I guess she was very close to her. And so I was like trying to talk to her and kind of ease her discomfort.
Meanwhile, your fingers on the thermostat pressing down. Like, I'm so sorry.
This'll dry your tears.
Yeah. Maybe you need something to cool off, you know?
Dude, yeah, no. And then I talked her down, and then she went for a run, and I was like, oh, you think it would have changed then? But no, after that is when she was like, no, I don't want to move. It's inconvenient. And, you know, I was so annoyed, like, after that, and I was like, whatever. We literally moved across the hall.
So you ended up being the one that moved out.
I did move, but in the end, it was better because we were to the back of the building, so it was less noisy, and they had ruined that room for me anyway. It had bad juju. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're a positive person, so that's a good way to look at it. But if I was up against this girl and it was like stubborn against stubborn, I would have really driven her insane. Like there's so many things I would have done to become a horrible roommate and person to the point where she would be like, I'm just leaving. I'm leaving. I'm out. Like you're just like, you really are non-confrontational. I didn't know that about you.
No, I don't want to. I don't like confrontation. If it's necessary, I will do it, but I don't like it.
Do you not like it because you don't like fighting with people, or it gives you like anxiety to have to like be in a heated moment where emotions might get high?
I don't know if it's anxiety necessarily, but like no one likes being in an uncomfortable position where like people are upset.
Do.
Psychopaths, but I am not. I don't like want people to be like having heightened emotions.
Yeah.
And then in turn I'm responding, you know, to that.
Yeah.
Because like, you know,
you're such a pleasant comedian. Comedians, like, they like to like, they want to bring people up and then bring them down, and you just want to ride the even wave of emotional reaction.
Yeah, no, that's exhausting. Like, to me, when I see people who are like that, they're like high and low. I'm like, aren't you tired?
Yeah.
Because I'm tired watching you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty even. Like, you know me well enough. I'm pretty even keel. But like, if I have a problem.
Oh, no, you do, girl. I know about the ginger ales.
Oh, yeah. That's for the Patreon episode. Yeah, no, but that was pretty mild. I'm trying to think of when I've been like really confrontational with a roommate before. I've learned how to do confrontation in different ways, where I'll just start asking people a lot of questions. Like, I won't get really like, you're like a therapist. You try and shrink them. Yeah. You try to ask them questions. Like, I asked somebody the other day, someone was like telling me that they're asexual, and I was like, what? They're like, yeah, I just think I'm asexual, which, like, a lot of people say that now. Like, this is not the first person that has told me this. And I was like, are you asexual? Are you afraid of having your feelings hurt? Like, are you afraid of having your heart broken? Like, are you truly...
Or afraid of intimacy? I know a lot of people with that.
Yeah, which is like I feel like that's a completely different
I feel like most people are like that.
Yeah, and I also feel like I think there's people who are going to try to make asexuality like... Somebody from my hometown apparently wrote a book about asexuality that my mom found yesterday. And she's like, here, I found this book for you. And I was like, no, I'm not asexual. I don't need the book, okay?
From your hometown? Not surprising. No, not surprising at all.
I mean, my hometown is like, it's like a small suburban
Oh, I guess. But it's so close to that other one.
People are making babies there. Like, things are good there. But...
It's so close to that other one.
I'm like, this can't be... I'm probably going to make people mad, but asexuality can't be a common... thing. Like, maybe more common than it used to be, but it can't be common because
I don't think it is.
We're here to
putting it on,
procreate. Like, whether you want to or not is on you.
There's probably something going on.
Your body is feeling,
yeah. There's probably something psychological going on in your brain if you don't want to procreate.
Yeah,
but
I just start asking people.
You remember when they tried to add them to the letters?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you add them to the letters? They want nothing to do with any of you.
LGBTQIA?
Yes, it's like, it's like they don't want nothing to do with any of you guys.
Yeah, no, they don't want anything to do with themselves. I don't know what they want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should probably do more research before I just come on a podcast talking about it, because it's an more.
Oh yeah, because we're researchers.
I finally had to ask my friend the other day. That's we're millennials. and she has little kids. And I was like, are your kids Gen Z or are they Gen Alpha, which is like
that's the new one?
That's the new generation.
Wait, how are they Alpha? No.
Because we've reached the end.
Absolutely not.
We've reached the end, and in 2012, the world didn't end like they predicted, and so now we have to come up with a new generation. So she was like, no, my kids are Gen Alpha. And I was like, thank God, because Gen Z, I don't understand. Have you heard this new term, Riz? You guys, do you know this term, Riz?
No,
it's
like
short
RZA?
it's short for charisma.
Ew.
So people be like, oh, she's got Riz.
Ew.
If people
You clearly don't if you're using that term. That's disgusting. Why are people
hurts my brain for some reason?
But why can't people just speak English? Like, why are we shortening everything? Are we running out of time?
Do you have the attention span to say charisma all the way? That's 3 syllables, John.
No, you remember?
I say charisma and I'm like, oh, a chicken. Like, what do you...
You remember during Stop Asian Hate? Okay.
No. Are you trying to trap me right now? Hey, white girl, you remember Stop Asian Hate? Yeah, were you one of those people?
No, it was all black people anyway. But I will say... That was the crazy thing, is it was black people who were beating up Asian people, but they were blaming the whites.
Look, we're just gonna have a full blown race war at some point.
That's
it's
so
gonna
funny.
be everybody.
They're blaming all the
other.
whites, and the black people were doing it. Anyway, but during that, I remember the hashtags were coming up, right? Mm-hmm. People were putting hashtag AAPI, and I was like, what?
I always thought it was AARP. I was like, why are we talking about?
Exactly.
I was like, Asian people are dying, and we're talking about AARP at a time like this.
Dude, I was like, what is that? I had to Google it. Okay, this is where we are right now.
Okay.
I Googled it, and it's Asian American Pacific Islander,
Yes.
right? And I'm like, okay.
You didn't know that? I learned that in college.
No.
Because we had an AAPI group,
Nobody talks like that. No, we didn't have any of those
and they met
people.
in a log cabin.
There was very few Asian Pacific Islander in my college. There wasn't black people. You thought there was Asians? Anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Although I did live with a Filipino, but she probably was like one of 3. No, but I just remember looking it up, and I'm like, Asian American Pacific Islander. I'm like, listen, if you can't muster the strength to say Asian American Pacific Islander, do you really have the strength to fight racism? Like, what are we doing?
Wait, so you're saying that we shouldn't abbreviate it to AAPI? We should
No!
just say Asian American.
Why can't you
Pacific
just
Islander?
say it? Because I didn't know what it was. Hashtag.
I mean, everything. To your point, everything's an abbreviation. I
I
dated a guy once who would abbreviate everything.
That's
to the point where it was like,
no.
I think it was a bit like.
No, I think he was a psychopath and he would have murdered you in your sleep. Thank God you're not dating him anymore. Because that's crazy.
It didn't last that long as it was, but
it's gross. What? I'm a walk. I'm a POC. I'm a BIPOC.
Like he would even say like I abbreviated it. Like it was like he would abbreviate. It was like in a. I don't want to say gross because I always thought it was kind of funny, but it was also like.
No, it's gross.
If this isn't a bit, don't do it.
Was he a comedian?
He was a funny guy.
Okay. It's gross. But I'm just saying, like, just speak. Like, not everyone knows you.
When you, like, write things out, do you write, like, cannot, or do you say can't? Like, some people really write out, like, do not do this.
It depends on what the emphasis is. Like, what, because, you know, if you're writing if you're just talking about like you're just writing, but if I'm writing jokes, it depends on the rhythm because, you know, comedy is all in timing.
Yes.
And so cannot might hit harder than can't.
Sure.
Or vice versa or whatever.
I always find that I'll say can't instead of cannot.
But that's not an equivalent to a breathe.
Casual. No, but I'm thinking of like one of you shorten things, like it makes it more cash. People say cash instead of casual.
So cash.
I hardly have the attention span to like go pee, let alone.
Listen, I don't have time to decipher your coded language. When I'm like looking on the internet.
Do you know any other languages?
No, it's English. It's a language I'm supposed to be proficient in. And people are making it coded.
You'll never be the spokesperson for Duolingo because you're like, I don't do abbreviations. I don't do English like other languages. English is it.
No, it's stuff that is
full English, unabbreviated.
This is going to be like all these like little abbreviations people are using.
Yeah.
I know they think it's going to be permanent, but it's not.
Okay, what do you think about the term situationship?
Ugh.
Do you prefer friends with benefits as a term over situationship?
No, I'll use situationship because I have had those, and it friends with benefits, it doesn't apply because we're not always friends.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're just talking about we've shortened charisma to
that's
Riz,
longer, right?
And then instead of friends with benefits or something just like hooking up, it's situationship.
Because they tried to create a word to just encompass all the weirdness of like having sex with someone, but you're not in a committed relationship.
That's 5 syllables.
So I'm just going to tell people I'm having sex with someone, but we're not in a committed relationship.
Which is still long, but at least it's a full sentence.
I know.
At least it's like...
I'm not listen, have I ever written that word, situationship? Absolutely not.
No.
But I have used it.
I wonder what your phone would autocorrect it to. It's like that's how I feel
I have no
saying the
idea.
word.
But I don't know. I get that. I try not to be in those anymore. Because I'm too grown.
Because we're grown women. We don't want to be.
No, I value myself more than that now. So, and and I know what I'm worth.
So you're single right now, fellas.
I am single right now.
Most of the people who watch my podcast are men.
Oh, that's
nice.
According
to the analytics, including.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
But what age group?
Millennial men.
Okay. I always get young men.
No,
like younger in their 20s.
Do you prefer younger?
I don't.
Oh.
But that's what I get.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's your ideal age of a man? Same age as you?
No. 3 to 5 years older.
Yeah, that's that's wise.
Well, because they're so delayed.
Yeah.
So I need someone who's like comparable to me maturity wise.
Yeah.
Which honestly, probably would be someone who's like 12 to 15 years older.
Hey man, good for you. I ain't mad at that.
But I go 3 to 5 usually.
Yeah.
So like I'm on the prowl right now. You know, I'm on the apps.
I've never gone younger. I'm trying to think.
I have. I dated a younger guy. He was 4 years younger, and it was awful.
Yeah, I've gone on dates with guys who are younger at different times, thinking I would have certain things in common with them. Mm-hmm. And it's never... There's just like, you have a lot of life experience. Sure. I think I have a lot of life experience. We both traveled. We have like a curiosity about the world. And I think sometimes it takes people, especially men, like they need to grow into that a little bit because they're so busy out, like... thinking with their dicks that they don't even like. They're like, oh, Greece, where's that? They don't think about Greece until they're like 35, and they're like, I should go there sometime.
Unless you're a Greek guy.
Yeah, then all of a sudden you're like,
then you're in Greece and you're like, LA, what's that?
Yeah. So I just think they don't think, or they haven't been exposed yet, and I've been all over the place.
My biggest thing is I dated someone who I guess technically is a millennial, even though he was younger than me. He felt younger. He's only 4 years younger, but he was very what am I trying to say? He was very much about that ideology. He wasn't he didn't have the capacity to like think for himself or to be able to be open and listen to people who had different opinions than him.
Oh, so he was an asshole.
Yeah, he was very closed off, and if you didn't think the way
very
he
black
thought,
and white, like
if you didn't think the way he thought, he would roll his eyes and like, you're a bad person.
Was he rigid too? Like that seems very rigid to me.
It's very rigid, and I think I shook him. He got shook by me. Yeah, because it's not that I necessarily disagreed with him all the time, but I would question him a lot. I always asked questions.
And then he didn't know how to answer them.
Yeah, because I felt like he didn't know why he believed the things he believed. He just believed them. Mm-hmm. And I would question him, like, why do you believe that? Like, what evidence do you have for this or whatever? Because he would say stuff.
Did he think the Earth was flat or something?
No, it's, the regular lefty woke shit that people believe now. Especially it was COVID time, so it was rampant, honey.
I don't think anybody that started dating during COVID made it out.
Maybe. Like, he was a COVID relationship, but
yeah,
I knew him before. COVID.
Because the person that I dated during COVID, and it didn't last very long, but I just remember thinking the entire time, like, could I date this person in a non-COVID situation? And I think in my head, my answer was always no, but I didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last. I was like, if we're in this forever, like, I mean, this would be fine. But
it was 8 months. For me.
I just don't think, it was like 3 months, if that. But I was like, I don't think this could exist.
And this was like the beginning of COVID. Like,
yeah, same.
I had no intention of being in a relationship with him because he lived on the other side of the country at the time. We hooked up once because he came to visit.
So was it long distance during COVID? Oh, he was.
Oh, okay. Yes, but here. So he lived in New York and I lived here. And then he came to visit. We met in the Bay Area where he's originally from. And when we met, he moved to New York like a month later. I did a show. His show, he had a show in New York when I went to visit.
So he was a comedian.
Yeah, in 2019. And he expressed interest. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I thought he was gay. And so it threw me for a loop. And then I left. He didn't make a move. I left. He came to visit a few months later, made a move. I was like, sure. So we hooked up. He went back to New York. And he's like, oh, when are you coming back to New York? I don't know. I lied. I knew when I was coming back, but I didn't. I was like, I don't know about that.
And this was all before the lockdown.
This is all before lockdown. This was in January of 2020.
Wow.
And then all the shit hit the fan. And I was supposed to go to New York in May of 2020. May 5th.
Wow.
Cinco de Mayo, baby.
No,
and
everybody was dying in May 2020 in New York.
Dude, I was going to live there for 2 months.
Oh
and
my
then, obviously I didn't do that. And he went home because everyone was scared. And his mom was like, come home. It's not looking good there. Mm-hmm. So he went home. And so he's back in the Bay. And then we rekindled something because I go up there, see my family. Mm-hmm. And then that's how it happened. So we did ended up having a long distance, but not from New York, from the Bay.
Yeah, no, that's not so bad.
But
because it's like even in the pandemic.
Yeah, we would come back and forth all the time.
Like it was hard to see people.
Yeah, we would drive. I would drive. And
yeah.
It was fine.
Have you ever lived with a boyfriend?
I've never lived with a man. So I've lived with one man my whole life.
You got very serious. You're like, so let me tell you about this one time I lived with a man.
No, he was my friend.
Never gonna do it again.
He was in a rough spot, and he was a friend, and I was like, I had a room, so I was like, all right, but this is what it is. This is how much it is, and this is the rules. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. He lived with me. He annoyed the shit out of me. I loved him dearly. He passed away last year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
or was it this year? No, it's last year because this is a new year. So he died last year. It's actually, it's really weird that I still don't believe he's gone. Like, I feel like,
damn,
because you know how it is with comics. Like, you might not see a comic for like 6 months, and then you'll see him, and you're like, hey.
Yeah, it happened to me last night, actually.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
it feels like, oh, I'm just gonna run into him.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you know.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he's the only man I ever lived with, and do not recommend unless I'm married. And I said I will never live with another man again until I am like in a romantic committed relationship.
What makes you say that? What happened that has made you feel this way?
It's just like men live different, girl. I don't even want to live with a gay man.
Oh no, I mean
that might be worse.
It would depend.
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean it would depend. Like people who are overly fastidious, man or woman, gay, straight, whatever. No. I listen. Then they're just gonna get mad at you because you're not. There's no way you're ever gonna meet there.
It's just different, okay? Like,
was he dirty?
Shocker, men and women are different. No, oh yes, he was. He was a man. He was a man.
Not all men are dirty.
I know not all men are dirty, but men don't think about the same things that women think about. Do you know what I mean? Like, the level of detail. Like,
yeah, yes,
like the things that I think about when I'm like looking at a room or a situation, even a fastidious man ain't gonna think about it the same way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To some degree, yes. I've also found, and this has nothing to do with men.
I don't like neurotic men either.
Roommates that I've had my entire life, no one quite knows how to clean correctly. So I've accepted the fact that like. My mom cleans really well, and like like the stuff you learn about that you probably learned from your mom, unless you had a dad that had to play the role of mom.
Yeah.
And my mom was always very good at cleaning, and I grew up with a maid. Your dad had a cleaning business?
Yeah, he used to clean carpets, and then he would clean office buildings and stuff, and I would help him do that.
But then, and like my mom's dad was also a firefighter, and he was
He had to be
very clean person
because you live with all these other men.
Yeah. And it's kind of like being in the military. Like you have to learn. And my dad was in the military too, so maybe he's pretty clean. Men don't find the need to own vacuum cleaners. I've realized. Yes. Like that's the thing. That
this one didn't have
me.
A bed. He didn't have a bed. I tried to give him
a mattress.
Bed. No, I tried to give him one twice. I was like, hey. My friend has this bed. She only used it like a couple times. It's practically new.
Oh my God.
I can go pick it up. I'll pick it up and it's yours. Oh no, it's okay. I have a friend. He's going to give me his.
Did he sleep on the floor?
Yes, girl.
In his room.
So I gave him my air mattress to borrow for a little bit. And then when I offered him the bed, I was like, oh, great. He didn't take it. I offered him another bed. He didn't take
was
it.
He like
and then he was sleeping on my couch. And I did not like that.
Yeah, no.
I asked him so many times not to sleep on the couch. See, but this is the thing. And he didn't mean anything bad by it. He's a good person.
Uh-huh.
It's just like.
Had he ever been like homeless or something? Mm-hmm. Oh, he had been homeless. Mm-hmm. So he was maybe used to sleeping. Like there was some sort of comfort maybe in sleeping on like a hardwood.
It wasn't a hardwood. It was carpeted.
But I mean, whatever. Still hard.
Yeah.
Like I knew a guy that was in the military. He went to the Middle East. And when he came home, he was there for a long time. Like, he did like served real time over there in the military. And when he came back, he said that he used to have to sleep like half outside. Like he would put like a bed or a futon that would be like half outside, half inside because so used to sleeping outside. So I mean, maybe it was just like his trauma.
I don't know, but I think wherever he was sleeping before he came to me, he didn't sleep on the floor. He slept either on a bed or a couch or something like that. Maybe a couch because he loved sleeping on my couch, and I hated it because I'm like, you're ruining the couch. And I told him, I was like, we had so many conversations. I never yell, okay? Yeah. I'll have a civil conversation with you. Like, hey, like, let's talk. Like, I need you to not sleep on the couch. I said, if it's the daytime and you're watching TV and you fall asleep and you take a little nap, that's fine. But you're sleeping on the couch. Like, and I come home in the night. Girl, it got so bad. I would come home and because he would fall on the couch and he would get up like, oh, I wasn't on the couch. Like, you know, like, trying to cover it up. And I'm just like, dude, like, I don't want to nag you about these things. Like, I feel like I'm your mom and I don't want to be.
You just bought him a couch for his room and he could have slept on the couch.
I couldn't afford to buy him a couch. The couch I had, I couldn't afford. It was like.
There's so many free couches on sidewalks. At this point, it seems
what, am I bring bed bugs to my home? Girl, stop.
He probably had him already based on how you said he was living.
No,
I don't. Did I know this person?
You've seen him, I'm sure.
Oh.
But, like, it just was, But,
that's rough.
I love him.
I mean, that's a very unique. Like
after a year, I was like, it's time.
Most men are not sleeping on the floor.
I understand that, but I'm saying I will not live with a man until he is my romantic partner. Like living with a man who you're not romantically involved with, like I'm not about that life.
Men also have a smell.
Yes, they do.
Like women have a smell too.
Some women, yeah. Some women have a very strong.
Trust me, I know. Not because of me, because people
body odor.
Yeah. But men have men smell.
Hormonal imbalance, probably.
Yeah.
Girl, you need to change your diet.
Men smell like feet. Like when we would go on vacation with my brother and he would bring a friend and like they'd have their own room and you'd walk in there and you're like, why does it smell like 100 feet are in here?
It just smells bad.
Like it just smells like hot, like physically hot boy.
Like little puppies.
Whereas like women, I feel like smell. This is horrible. I feel like women smell like bloody tampons or something.
Like bones.
Like, yeah.
Pennies,
no, like
copper.
Yeah. Like women
iron
smell,
deficiency.
Yeah. Women smell like stale perfume and hairspray and dry shampoo. And
oh my my God.
like dusty tampons, and it's like a different kind of smell. But men,
I've only ever lived with women, so it's crazy because it's like I have all sisters. I have one brother, but he's 20 years older than me, so I've never lived with him.
yeah.
And so I live with my sisters, my mom, and then like I've lived with my dad, but my dad is very clean, and he always had his own room, and he kept it clean, and it was never an issue living with my dad.
Yeah.
Also, he's my dad, so
I
it's
know,
different.
but I lived with my dad as an adult for a little while. Like,
Yeah, as an adult, it was me as an adult. Yeah.
And that was okay. I mean, there were other things that we would like get in arguments about, but not over that.
Never
like,
the cleanliness.
My dad has never smelled.
No.
Shout out to Dad. And he'll be like, "Thank you so much for a very strange compliment." He's never smelled, and he's always been clean. My brother's pretty clean, but like they're both people who are like respectful of
the space,
boundaries, and like noise and
right.
I
mean, I
don't know.
When I was dating the mountain man, I told you
Yes.
about the mountain man.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
He was very clean, and like he was but not OCD clean. You know, like he was reasonably clean. You know what I mean? And he never smelled. And the first time when we went on a date, our second date, we had a 2-parter date. It's a long story, but we met out in the day, and then we went back to my place. I changed, and then we went out in the night. And he drove, and he was like, "Sorry about my car. It's so dirty." It was not dirty at all, and it did not smell. And
I love
it was
when
nice.
people are like that. Like they're so worried that there's like.
I know. And then I went to his house for the first time in the mountains, and I was worried, okay, because I've been to dudes' places.
I mean, yeah.
And it is
the
like
way these
a mixed
Netflix
bag.
documentaries are going, you could have been murdered easily.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
But his house was clean. He had 2 dogs. Didn't smell like dog.
Damn.
You know, he had art on the walls. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like he
A
had
whole ass
plants.
man.
I know. He had plants. It was his home. He owned it.
I love it.
It was his house. And so I was like very impressed.
Yeah.
The only time he smelled is sometimes because he would smoke meat for me all the time. He had an outdoor
and then you would
pit.
Smoke his meat. I get it.
Yeah,
I'm picking up what you're putting.
He smelled like meat, but I didn't mind it. I liked it.
Did it smell like meat though, or just like a smoky?
Like a smoky, meaty man.
Wow.
Which I didn't know I was into that. But
Were you dating Paul Bunyan? Like, what is? You need to move to Oregon, dude. Like everybody in Oregon looks like that. Even the ones that aren't like that look. That's the look.
But not. I don't want a Portland brawny man.
Really?
No, they're too soft.
They're not soft.
I mean,
they're
soft
like,
and
some
sentiment.
of them are like real lumberjack.
Okay, yeah, I would love a real lumberjacky guy, not like some dude who's a barista who looks like a lumberjack.
No.
Because the first time I ever was in Oregon, I went to eat. I went to Portland, went to this little, I don't even know where the hell I was. I thought I was just getting like Thai food or something. And it was all moody and dark in there. And the guy who served me had a weird mustache, and he was wearing flannel and like, it was like a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, this is very on brand.
Yeah, Portland's definitely lives up to their tagline of keep Portland weird. But
yeah, but I don't want that kind of guy. Like,
yeah.
I want a man. Like, he works with his hands. His hands are a little rough.
Yeah.
And
we can find you that.
He's got a beard.
We're not going to find that in Los Angeles. I hate to tell you. Like,
well, I had my mountain man, but you know.
Yeah, and how did you find him? Hinge?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
he's literally the only good person I ever met on Hinge.
Most mountain men aren't even on social media, let alone dating apps. So I think that's you probably got very lucky.
Well, to be fair, he's from Orange County, but he lives in the mountains now.
He must have had a traumatic childhood to go from living in Orange County to being like, you know what, I'm just going to stay in the mountains.
He worked near there.
Good.
That's where his work was.
No, you need to go out. Like, if you ever go back to Portland, you need to go to the suburbs and then get on the dating apps and then find people who like really like work on farms and stuff, because they're out there and they're real. Like, that's like a mountain man. Like, they like understand the outdoors.
They don't have to be a mountain. Let me preface it. You don't have to be a mountain man. I just want you to be a man who works with his hands. Like, I need a husband who can fix stuff.
Yeah. Do you want like my grandpa used to make like he made me a rocking horse when I was a kid.
That's beautiful. A
Yeah,
carpenter? I'm into that.
Yeah, he did that.
My friend married a carpenter. He's soft though.
He made my brother
I'm sorry.
a
I don't
lemonade
mean you're
stand.
soft, but I just mean like you're sensitive and you're
Yeah,
he's from Indiana, but he's like a sensitive liberal lefty.
My grandpa was married when he died and now he's dead, but I think you need that kind of man. Like he could build stuff. He was a firefighter. He could fix things.
Yeah.
He made tooled leather belts.
Yeah.
He made my brother a lemonade stand, like a wooden.
Beautiful.
See, that's what you need. You need a man like that who can like make things for your kids.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and spend time with my kids too.
You want kids, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. See.
Desperately.
You're gonna make such a good mom because you're never gonna yell at your kids. You're gonna be like,
no one said that.
You said okay, so you're only non-confrontational when it comes to adults. When it comes to kids, you're like, I will yell at those children.
Well, children
every
don't
chance
know.
I get.
You have to children.
That's true.
You have to be very clear with them.
That's true.
You cannot be like, it's very confusing for children. They're learning how to they can't read between the lines yet. You have to teach them that.
Yeah.
So you can.
Which
so you have to be
funny.
very clear with them.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very straightforward and clear with children.
What's the funniest thing a kid has ever said to you that you remember?
That a kid has ever said to me?
Yeah, like have you ever had a kid say something crazy and you're just like,
I've heard kids say a lot of crazy things, but I'm trying to remember. I had these two kids and when I worked at a preschool, and it was a boy and a girl, and it was a conversation I overheard, and the boy goes, "You don't have a penis." And she's like, "Nope, I have a vagina." And he's like, "Oh, but we're still friends." And she's like, "Yeah, can I have a hug?" He's like, "Yeah." And he gives her a hug, right? He said the reason why they're talking about penises and vaginas because we were going to the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
So we go outside, maybe 15 minutes later. She goes, "Can I get a hug?" And he's like, "Again?" I was like, "Damn."
They're so direct.
He was like, "Bitch, I just hugged you."
Oh my God.
That didn't sustain you?
That's funny. I used to do the thing when I was in preschool and kindergarten. All the girls would chase all the boys to try to kiss them. Did you ever do that as a kid?
Oh.
I don't think you can even do that now. You can't touch.
They're like, "It's
nobody
consent,
can touch.
Consent, Billy.
But we would do that. Yeah. Oh, non-consensually. We would pin them against the wall and be like, "Gotcha."
I used to kiss my friends. I went through a phase where I kissed my friends. I was such a weird kid. I went through a phase where
I'm not surprised.
I would collect my friends' DNA and on a popsicle stick, and I'd put I'd put it in a Ziploc bag because just in case they got kidnapped, so the police I would have oh, here's their DNA. Listen, when I was a kid, CSI came out, so it was
sure it did. Yeah.
it was
good excuse.
Forensics.
I
didn't keep anything.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand why Jihan is single, and then she's probably out here saving men's DNA, and
I actually am not.
In case this guy ever goes missing, I've got a lock of his hair that I cut off while he was sleeping.
Why would I steal his hair when I want a baby? I would steal his semen, obviously.
Because I think you can make DNA out of anything. I mean, you just need some DNA.
No, I would steal his sperm.
Okay,
listen, if I'm gonna steal genetic material,
if you don't want a baby with Jihan, you need to do the Drake hot sauce trick.
Oh my God! Putting hot sauce on the condom, that's fucking crazy, bro.
For those of you that don't know, Drake puts hot sauce in his used condoms after he hooks up with girls. You're welcome.
Does that work though? It contaminates the specimen. Is that what happens?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't because girls will go and take the condom afterwards, in the bathroom.
Why?
And try to
Oh, that's crazy. Listen, I don't handle the condom. That's him. I'm like, you take that off. You get off my bed, off my sheets and my nice blanket, and you go throw that away.
Yeah. Yes.
In its proper place.
Yes.
I don't handle the condom.
Yes.
That is his job.
Yes. But
he needs to do something.
But I don't think you're missing the point.
I know. They want to get
by
impregnated
Drake. They go in there after that.
I get that.
I think a lot of men just flush it down the toilet, which is also not recommended.
So bad.
Yeah,
don't do that, sir.
I usually just find them out in the middle of the sidewalk. I mean,
we're in Los Angeles. People are so gross. When I was a kid,
why are homeless people using protection?
Dude, when I was a kid, we used to find them on the schoolyard after the weekend all the time. I think teenagers come fuck on our school yard. Damn. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And
I went to school with so many Mormon kids that There were some
yeah,
people
you're in
having
Oregon.
sex, but it wasn't like.
I mean, it wasn't kids from my school. I was in
But
elementary
it was
school.
somebody. Yeah, but I'm
There
saying
was a high
like,
school right down the hill. So they
Yeah.
probably were coming up and fucking at our school on the weekends.
Yeah.
It was just weird. But
is
no,
weird.
I don't do
It's
any of
also
that.
weird that like maybe the janitor, if they knew that was happening, wouldn't come and do like an early morning sweep of like the elementary
Girl,
school kids are coming.
You think he
Let me
getting paid
go.
enough? He's like, whatever. At least
know.
someone's
I
getting
mean,
something. I don't know,
Child
dude.
safety is important. I don't know. Are we at time?
All right.
Are we at an hour? Okay. So I'll cut this part out, but after this, thank you for being on.
Oh my God, thanks for
Loved
having
your
me.
stories. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Jihan.Sabir.
Oh, and how do you spell it?
Jiha. N as in Nancy, period. This is how I spell everything. S as in Sam, A, B as in boy, IR on Instagram.
So if you screw that up, that's on you.
Please just put it in the description.
So that's on Instagram. Do you have YouTube, Twitter, TikTok,
I have
Facebook?
YouTube.
You have YouTube? Is it just your name?
Yeah, it's just my name.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Yeah,
same thing.
So everything
Nice.
is my name. I don't have TikTok. Sorry.
You're not on True Social.
You're
You're not out tweeting at Trump.
Oh, I heard Trump tweeted a Rihanna review of
he
her
thought it
on
was
Truth
awful.
Social.
Shocker. Yeah.
Everyone was mad.
He's just mad because she doesn't have a bronzer shade that matches his skin tone. Heyo. All right. Well, thanks guys for tuning in here at Room for Rent. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud. You can follow us online on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Room for Rent Pod. You can follow me on all those platforms too at Maria Bruggere, MariaBruggere. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow, share it with your friends. We have a good time over here. See you next time.
Bye.